Not many people go to Las Vegas to find themselves, but our next guest did exactly that. Holly Madison first shot to fame as a Playboy bunny. In fact, it was Madison who gave Kenneth A.M. a tour of the Playboy mansion when I was there with her back in 2004.
Hi, Beverly.
You must be Holly.
Nice to meet you.
Great
Welcome
to meet you,
Playboy
too.
Mansion.
Who is this? Madison left the mansion in 2008 and set out on a new path, trying to shake preconceived notions about who she was and wasn't. Separating her real self from the stereotypes was no easy journey. It's one she walks readers through in her new book, The Vegas Diaries. Holly joins us this morning from New York. Great to see you again. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about, I mean, in your book, Down the Rabbit Hole, you took people into the mansion and kind of separated the fairy tale from the reality. This book is very different. It's really your personal journey and your perspective looking back. And really, you take us through, it was not easy and has not been easy for you to reinvent yourself after the Playboy mansion.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting when you start a new phase in your life. People always want to think of the old thing, and sometimes there will be people from your past who want to hold you back, but it's all about keeping your eyes on the prize and worrying about where you want to go next and being very consistent with that.
It's interesting from the stories that you tell in terms of being on Dancing with the Stars and and other reality shows and being a celebrity VIP guest. How you, and maybe you can explain that a little bit, how you walk the fine line between recognizing that you're a celebrity because of that, but at the same time trying to shake that and become somebody, become your own person, I guess.
Well, I think sometimes you get to the place where you don't even want the attention for that old thing anymore, and that's kind of why I wrote the first book, was to kind of like say what I needed to say and just be done with it. But in this book, I'm writing about starting over, and I finally, at the end of the book, actually get to a place where I kind of let go of caring about what other people think, and it's more about focusing on my journey and what I had accomplished so far and how that made me feel.
And as a result of that journey, it seems that you have a lot more clarity with regard to how you made it through that time, being one of 7 women, but really kind of the main person with Hugh Hefner. And you describe that life now, having gone through it and look back, as manipulative.
Yeah, you definitely gain some perspective. A lot of people ask me about the first book. Well, why did you write it now? Why did you wait 7 years after leaving? And I just didn't think that when I left, I got a lot of offers. People were like, oh, you could make this much money if you wrote a book. And it just didn't feel right to me. I didn't feel like I had my own story to tell at that point. And I didn't feel like I had any perspective on the situation either. And for so many years after I left, I was just focused on moving forward and starting over and starting a new career and everything, which I'm glad I did. But it takes time to really look back and reflect and get to a place where you feel okay going back in there and, telling yourself, what was this all about? And asking those questions and finally facing the reality. And that's one of the things I document in the Vegas Diaries too, is me kind of getting to that place where I can kind of be okay with my past.
Yeah, and you can tell in the book and the strength that it took to get to the place where you're at now. And now you're married, you have a daughter, you've got another child on the way. And in terms of what you've been through and your hopes and dreams, obviously for your children, but for Rainbow, I mean, what if she ever wanted to go into a lifestyle like that, like a Playboy? Like, how would you deal with that?
I mean, it's not anything I want for her. I'm kind of hoping that she's the kind of kid that doesn't want to do what her parents have done necessarily. I don't think she'll look at that and think it's cool after what I have to say about it.
Yeah, there's so many great stories in there, and really, and the Dancing with the Stars, as you walked us through that and how grueling that was for you, and you made it through that and other stories in it. Thank you kindly for sharing with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.